Wow!
Zebra 3 come in? Anyone remember that call sign? It belonged to one of the coolest shows of the 1970s, called Starsky Hutch. The show centered around two street-savvy and often undercover cops dealing with real-life issues, such as trying to keep substances off the streets and the aftermath of addictions. The show also focused on the two characters' personal lives, as well as their interactions with other police and workers at their precinct. Outside the precinct, the two cops also relied on certain informants, such as the character of Huggy Bear, who provided the officers with important information about what was going down in the streets. The show turned the main characters played by Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul into superstars. Let's check out some cool facts about this iconic show. Instead of the iconic Ford Torino in red and white, the original car that the production wanted was a green and white Chevy Camaro. Chevrolet didn't get back to them in time, so they had to go with a Ford. The rumor was that the cast thought the car was actually pretty ugly, with Paul Michael Glaser saying on numerous occasions how much he hated the car. Once the show aired, the Ford Torino became popular all on its own. The car was produced between 1968 and 1976. It's not clear how many cars were used in filming, but Ford produced 1,300 special edition Starsky Hutch versions at one time. One used during filming was sold for $40,000 in 2014, and it was signed by the cast. The car also made a cameo appearance on the very first episode of The Dukes of Hazzard. In 1977, the producers had to cut back on the violence due to an outcry against excessive violence on television. Instead, they had to come up with more romantic storylines and explore the relationship of the two stars. Thus, their bromance was born. Of course, they were just good pals, but with less action they had to talk a lot more during each episode. Many fans of the series who are gay like to fantasize that Starsky and Hutch were more than just friends. Fanfiction has been written about them, and some people even say they were the first working gay couple on television. That's still up for debate. Producer Aaron Spelling didn't think their sentiment was far off, revealing that he and the other producers would often refer to the show as TV's first heterosexual love affair. When the show aired in France, it was quite popular. Although in the translation they had to change up Huggy Bear Brown's name, the French call him Huggy le bon tuyau, which actually means Huggy good tips. It seems the French needed to make a more literal translation of what the character was all about. This happens quite often when the show gets translated into other languages overseas. Maybe the French thought that Huggy Bear was too silly of a name, which actually does make sense. Although many different guns were used on the show, there was one very special in particular. This was the handgun that Hutch predominantly used. This gun was also used by Clint Eastwood in the 1973 Dirty Harry movie Magnum Force. A similar gun was used in the 2004 movie version of the television show. It was common back in the 70s to reuse props that ended up on different movie sets and various television shows. eBay was not around back then for people to sell collectibles to rabid fans. David Soul is now 73 years old and is an accomplished stage actor in the West End of London. He actually became a British citizen in 2004 in order to live and to theatre over there full-time. Granted, the Chicago native still retains his US citizenship, but now resides in London. Soul is also quite the ladies' man, with his marriage to wife number 5, Helen Snell, in 2010. He has 6 children throughout all of those various marriages. Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul actually had small guest parts in the 2004 film Starsky Hutch, starring Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. Snoop Dogg even played the part of Hucky Bear in the remake. The original stars appear at the end of the movie as car salesmen who sell the duo a brand new car to replace the loss of their beloved Torino. The movie did fairly well overall, grossing around $170 million at the box office and only cost $60 million to make. It's obvious that fans of the original show came out in full force to support the comedic remake. In the pilot, the pivotal role of the Captain Harold C. Dobie is played by actor Richard Ward. When the next episode aired, the captain was played by Bernie Hamilton. The reason they made the switch is that the producers, Aaron Spelling and Leonard Goldberg, had seen Hamilton play those kinds of parts before with great success. They didn't hesitate to replace Ward when the show got picked up for a full season. Bernie Hamilton died at the age of 80 in 2008 after a long life and moderately successful career as an actor. Obviously, Starsky Hutch was by far his most famous role in his life.